The rise of the Knights Templar. In the year 1113, 9 knights arrived in Jerusalem with no wealth, no army, and almost no support. Yet within a single generation, they would become more powerful than many kings. So what changed? Europe had just fought the First Crusade, Jerusalem had been captured, and thousands of pilgrims began traveling across lands that were still dangerous, unstable, and filled with armed raiders. Many never reached the city alive. Something had to protect them. But what appeared instead was unexpected. Because the men who volunteered for this mission were not ordinary soldiers. They called themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ. And at the time, they truly were poor. Their leader was a knight named Hugh de Payens. He did not command a large army. He did not control territory. And he did not represent a powerful noble house. Yet within a few years, he secured support from the most influential religious leaders in Europe. How did 9 unknown knights gain that kind of attention so quickly? The headquarters made the situation even stranger. Instead of building a fortress outside the city walls, they were given space inside one of the most important locations in Jerusalem, the Temple Mount. A site many believed stood above the ruins of the Temple of Solomon itself. Few groups were ever allowed to live there, yet the Templars were, and they remained there for nearly 10 years. So what were they doing on the Temple Mount for an entire decade? Officially, they were protecting pilgrims. Unofficially, no one recorded what happened beneath their headquarters during those years. There are no surviving excavation reports, no inventories, no descriptions, nothing. And yet something clearly changed. Because after those 10 years, the order began expanding faster than anyone expected. Support began arriving from across Europe. Land was donated. Castles were granted. Money flowed toward the new brotherhood. And the church itself placed them under direct papal authority. This meant something extraordinary. The Knights Templar answered to no king, only the Pope. So how did a small group of 9 knights gain independence from every ruler in Europe? The answer may lie in something few people noticed at the time. The Templars were not simply warriors. They were monks. They took vows of poverty, vows of obedience, and vows of lifelong service, which meant everything they owned belonged to the order itself. Not to individuals, not to families, and not to kings. This made them something rare in the medieval world. Reliable, disciplined, and extremely difficult to control. Their reputation began spreading quickly. Pilgrims trusted them, nobles supported them, and rulers began depending on them for protection across dangerous territories. But the more influence they gained, the more questions began to follow them. Because their headquarters remained on the Temple Mount, and their activities there remained secret, even from many of their allies. So what exactly were they searching for beneath one of the most sacred locations in the world? Within a generation, the Knights Templar had become one of the most powerful organizations in Europe. They controlled fortresses across continents. They protected trade routes. And they stood at the center of the Christian world's military strategy in the East. All from the beginning of just 9 knights. Which raises a question historians are still trying to answer today. How did 9 unknown warriors become the most trusted military brotherhood in medieval Europe so quickly? And what happened during those 10 silent years beneath the Temple Mount that changed everything? Because in the next chapter of their story, symbols begin to appear across Europe that may reveal what the Knights Templar were really building. In the next episode, too, we follow the symbols the Knights Templar left behind across Europe and what they may reveal about the secret identity of the order itself. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. See you
in the next story.